Welcome to Anything New. My name is Pete, and as always, I'm here with Matt.
What's up?
And Opie.
Hello.
Anything New is the podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. Episode 37. Nick Van Exel. Simi Ojale.
Wow.
Meta World Peace.
That's so many 37s. Like, I don't know 137.
I just looked it up.
Okay. Wow.
Cheater.
What's an odd number, you know?
It is a very...
How many 37, number 37s do you know? But now you know 3. So, anyway, guys, it is episode 37. We got Mortal Kombat we're getting ready to talk about. Matt wants to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier finale. I know it had to be just bussin'.
It was.
I don't know what that means, but it was really good.
We're going to talk about a new co-op game that we're going to get ready to start playing probably next week, maybe this week. We haven't really decided, ironed out all the details yet, but it's going to be something that maybe we could stream during the week a little bit on our YouTube channel. So we're going to be excited to talk about that. We've got some pickups, but first, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. Whose pick was this? This was Opie's. Matt's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matt picked Mortal Kombat.
Woo.
You know, video game movies, they kind of have a stigma for being a little lackluster.
Right.
Matt, why don't you tell us about this rendition of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat, if you are watching this or listening to this, you probably know what Mortal Kombat is. But this one is a, updated version for 2021. It premiered in theaters and on HBO Max last Friday. It's the story. I don't know the deep lore from the games. I only know, I only played a couple of the games growing up, and I know the old movies and stuff. But in this one, it's kind of the same story where, Outworld is coming up on the 10th anniversary, the 10th Mortal Kombat, the 10th tournament. And if Outworld, they've won the first 9. If they win the 10th one, they take over Earth and they take over our realm. And Shang Tsung is gathering up his group of guys, and Raiden is gathering up Earth's defenders. And they fight in one-on-one or mostly one-on-one tournaments for the fate of the world. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's Mortal Kombat.
That's
people fighting and fatalities. You know what it is. You guys know what it is. But so this is a new one. We had those couple movies in the 90s, and we've had YouTube shows, and there's been the cartoon in the 90s, and there's been stuff. And then this is the newest one. So we watched it. The first 15 minutes were really good. Or no, I'm sorry, the first 7 minutes were really good. It was took place back in the 1600s, and it kind of established the rivalry between Sub-Zero's clan and Scorpion's clan, although that wasn't their names back then. They actually had real names that I've already forgotten. So it established their rivalry, and then time jumped us into the present. After those first 7 minutes, though, our buddy Dan said it best. After those first 7 minutes, it quickly became a video game movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 17 times. Every time we get a video game movie, I think maybe this is going to be the one.
Yeah.
That's a good video game movie. And this was just another video game movie. I mean, it definitely wasn't the worst video game movie, but I didn't think it was really super great. I didn't even think the fights were really all that spectacular.
Nope.
Nothing about it was really spectacular to me.
Not even Kano?
No. Well, for a while,
Kano
it
was
became
the bright
Kano
spot.
movie.
He was the bright spot. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I did like how they set, like when it first came on and they were setting it up from the beginning. I'm like, okay, like this is cool. Like I like this. But yeah, you nailed it. It quickly just becomes just we're just kind of making up as we go. We're going to just do some cool fatalities and turn some blood to ice and rip some arms off. And I mean, it was, I don't know even if I would recommend it to friends that like Mortal Kombat. Maybe. I don't know.
I think I would.
I think the Mortal Kombat, well, the way I took it is like kind of the Mortal Kombat kind of diehards may catch. Like I caught the fatality stuff and the one-liners and things like that they threw in there because of just what little. And I'm like you, Matt. Like I played everybody played one that's been around video games, and then like it kind of skips around. You play bits and pieces of the other ones, but I was never a diehard. But I just thought it was funny. It's like, we're on Earth, and then they just jump to an outer world. So we're in this reality where an outer world exists, and everybody's okay with it. I mean, like, Sonya Blades knows. The people on Earth know that there's like a Raiden and a temple, and all that stuff is just lore. Everybody's cool with all that this is something that happens. But they didn't really try to even give us any kind of backstory of the outer world or anything like that.
I was kind of thinking about that as I was watching it, because it's a video game without much context. You don't really know, like it's not like an RPG where you really get some backstory on each character and kind of like what they're dealing with. You get like a little bio, but that's really about like why they're there and like who they're fighting for. But it's just I guess it's probably hard to make a deep movie where you can fall in love and care about the characters when the game doesn't really do that either.
But I mean, there's been lore established throughout the 20 years of Mortal Kombat 30 years of Mortal Kombat games that there's been. And just because, and even if it's not like a deep lore in the games, it doesn't mean you can't make one for a movie. Get a good screenwriter in there and if fill in the blanks. I mean, there's enough of a lore to get started, and if you need more, just fill it in with good story. But this one, like you said, there wasn't any of that. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna fight these.
They should.
Louis Tan's character Cole Young, he wasn't even in the games. Like, he's new for the movies for some reason, and.
I didn't hate that idea because, I thought, well, maybe they're trying to do that. Maybe they're trying to, establish some sort of, character that you can really, like, and then maybe put him in the next game or something. But I don't know. It was not bad. Not great.
If you want to make a serious, well, and then one thing we should say too is this is rated R, because this is way more violent than any, of the other movies or shows or anything like that. We got some gory fatalities when, not Shang Tsung, but Liu
Kang.
No, not but the other guy with the hat. I can't remember his name, but he did the fatality from the game where he threw his hat. He made it a saw blade in the ground. Yeah. But you know what? I feel like with Kung Lao, that's what it was.
Kung Lao?
With the fatalities. Like, there was a lot of hubbub was made about this film is rated R and it's super violent, and how violent the games are. Well, now you're going to get that in the movie. I actually didn't think. I felt like they really wanted to embrace the fatalities and they wanted to embrace the violence, but they got scared. So it's like, oh, we put in that fatality and that fatality. Oh, it's getting a little bit violent. Maybe we should back off. Like, they didn't go balls out with it. So you had You had Kung Lao's fatality where he sawed the winged girl in half. That was really cool. You had Sub-Zero ripping Jax's arms off.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jax near the end, the guy with the big hammer. You had him smashing the head in.
Yeah.
Other than those three, like, I didn't think it was any more violent or gory than any other movie rated R that I've seen.
Well, wasn't that Jax's fatality in the game? Didn't he rip the arms off?
I don't know. Did he?
I think so. So I thought it was kind of like,
but they were making a lot of
justice.
This is going to be violent, and this, we're going to get the fatalities, and you had Scorpion at the end. He breathed fire on Sub-Zero, like he did in the old school game, but that didn't really look all that bad. And Liu Kang did his fire dragon and burned whoever that was up, and I didn't think that was that bad either. I don't know. It just felt like they didn't really lean into it. It felt like they were just sort of skirting around it. But
so it is opened up for more, right? There's going to be two more or something, right? 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, because at the end, because Johnny Cage wasn't in this, which was kind of strange. So at the end, they made a big deal about Cole Young is going to go to L.A. to find Johnny Cage because this is going to happen again. Shang Tsung is going to, get another group of bad guys and, bring them in for another. I always thought that, correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me what you guys thought, but, they never really clearly defined good guys and bad guys in the game. You just pick whichever fighter. But I always kind of assumed that if there were good guys, I always kind of figured that Sub-Zero was more of a good guy than Scorpion was.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love how they didn't even back up why they changed their name. Why did they just like they had this really cool Japanese and Chinese name, and then they just like they're going by something else.
Yeah, and along those lines, like Scorpion in the 1600s, like he was killed, and they established that he was like trapped in hell or whatever, and he's trying to get out, and Cole Young helped him get out, and that's how So that's how they established Scorpion coming back. Sub-Zero, like he was just like a regular dude in the 1600s, and then now he's Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
They don't establish why. Did he die? Was he brought back to life? Did Shang Tsung, like he was just showed up and he was just
he
Sub-Zero
had the ice power in the 1600s too.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you guys think about the whole birthmark or the marking of that? I mean, that's just something
it's just an excuse to get people, to pick your fighter, basically.
And basically,
yes.
And then the other thing was what was the name for their superpower? What was it when they had
it wasn't. I don't remember.
They couldn't even make it even anything simple like chi or
I thought they were going to call it, your
force.
inner chi or something. But no, well that was something too. Is like when you get a mark. You have this mark on you, which means you are eligible for the tournament, basically.
Yeah.
And if you kill somebody with that mark then gets transferred to you, and you get basically superpower. Not superpowers, but the abilities in the game. You get that comes along with it.
Yeah.
Cole Young couldn't activate his throughout the whole movie. Sonya Blade gets hers, and within a minute, she's already blasting people with some kind of pink laser. Super inconsistent. The one thing, guys, my biggest gripe with the whole thing, it's Mortal Kombat, right? We've won 9 tournaments. If we win the 10th tournament, we're going to take over Earth. They didn't even compete in a tournament.
No.
There wasn't even Mortal Kombat. The whole point was Shang Tsung was trying to cheat and kill all of Raiden's guys before the tournament. So the whole movie was them fighting before the tournament. Yeah. Maybe they're going to get to the tournament in the second one.
Yeah, that's what that's what I took from it.
I guess, guys, this is a bit of a hot take. I think I like the original one from the 90s better.
Whoa! A lot of people are saying that on social media. I saw some of the pictures. What about? Did you guys pick up on the little Easter eggs, like the leg sweep they did on Kano? Like, you know how people that was the notorious.
Yeah.
That
was the move everybody would do.
I think if you can make a serious Mortal Kombat movie, and you don't have to use fatality and flawless victory. Like every one of those popular sayings from the game they worked into the movie, and they stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, you don't need to do like maybe Get Over Here was all right, but you don't need to put that in there to be taken seriously. I mean, or to be a legitimate Mortal Kombat movie. I thought those were super forced. I was thinking about this though. I want to put this out. I've got an idea for how they could do a really good, solid Mortal Kombat movie.
Let's hear it.
You want to hear it? All right. They do it MCU style, right?
Uh-oh.
Multiple movies. You have one movie, the first one, that is the whole movie is basically the first 7 minutes, right? It's a period piece, takes place in the 1600s. Yep. It establishes Sub-Zero and Scorpion's clans and their rivalry. You do all that in one movie, and maybe Raiden pops up at the end and says, "Oh yeah, there's you're going to be needed." You use Raiden as the Nick Fury, basically. Then you have another movie that's a more of a modern military, and you get Sonya Blade and Jax chasing Kano and the Black Dragon clan or whatever group he was working. So then you have like a modernized military movie like that, and then Raiden at the end pops up. You guys are needed for Mortal Kombat. And then you have another one that's basically Outworld and Shang Tsung and what he's doing, and that's more of a mystical movie where actually the bad guys win at the end. And maybe that's the one right before your Mortal Kombat movie, which is basically your Avengers, where they all come together. Maybe you have another movie too with Liu Kang and his group of monks or whoever it was he was hanging out with. And they're actually studying what Shang Tsung is doing in Outworld, and they're trying to, maybe there's a little bit of a fight between. But you have you can group these people together into different groups, give them their own movie, and then you bring them all together in this one giant tournament movie.
Yeah,
That's
then, at least you'll be able to kind of establish some backstory and some relationships and stuff that way.
Is Mortal Kombat a big enough franchise for that? Would it hold? Would it pull?
I don't know. I don't know.
But that's how you. I mean, that'd be good comics, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, and there have been Mortal Kombat comics. I mean, in 2008, Iron Man wasn't really a A-list character, and they gave him his own movie. Thor wasn't either, so if you do that, I mean, especially if you start it with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, those are the two most popular characters.
Yeah,
you give them their own movie, a period piece set in the 1600s, make it a badass martial arts film.
Sub-Zero was definitely my favorite. He was my go-to.
Yeah, I used to use him and Liu Kang. But I was a little bit underwhelmed with it. I mean, like I said, I didn't even think it was that great of a martial arts movie. It was just underwhelming all around. I really.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know going into, especially after World of Warcraft, because I was so hyped up for that one, and I knew in my heart of hearts that it was going to be bad, and it was. So it's just tough, man. And I don't really get it, but it's tough. Nobody's really cracked the code on great video game movies yet.
Yeah, maybe there needs to be a Konami code for video game. So maybe we've got the Uncharted movie coming with Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. Maybe that'll be a great video game movie.
Well, Uncharted's a movie in itself. You said that many times.
That's true.
So I don't think there's
just
really
just film the game. just film the game with
a live
real
action
actors,
game.
and that's
Like
good
literally,
enough.
start hit Tom Holland off at level 1, the very first.
That's all you
speed
need.
Chase. The train goes off the edge. He's trying to climb up those cars. That's all you just need to film the movie.
That's Uncharted 2, but you got the right idea.
You're right. That's the only
that's all you
level
need.
I could think of.
Cool. Sonic the Hedgehog was a good video game movie, even though it didn't take place in Green Hill Zone or whatever. But
all right, well there we go. Mortal Kombat. The last word on that one. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn to pick.
And real quick, they during the end credits they remixed the old school Mortal Kombat theme, and it was awful.
I don't even think I stuck around for all that.
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't miss anything.
And there was no post-credit scene. Seriously, gosh.
Right? Jeez.
All right. All right. So it's my turn to pick a movie this week. So if you've seen it, I have a backup. Okay. Because I'm a little. I shouldn't look at reviews before
No, you shouldn't ever.
But I did Google the trailer because I was going to play the trailer, but then the first comment on the YouTube channel with the trailer said, "Way to go, trailer guy, putting the ending scene in the trailer." Ooh. So I don't want to play the trailer.
Okay.
So this is a. It says it's a 2020 movie, rated R. Jessica Chastain, John Malkovich, Gina Davis, Ava.
I've seen it.
Is it good?
No.
Everybody says it's horrible.
It is not in the least bit good. It's not at all.
So I was worried.
We grade movies like, I don't, it wasn't great, but I don't feel bad that I spent night. Okay. I wanted my time back.
Okay.
It was not good.
That's why I said that, because I couldn't really find a good review on it, but it looked good. Like whenever I read the synopsis, listen to this. Ava is a deadly assassin who works for a black ops organization traveling the globe, specializing in high-profile hits. When a job goes dangerously wrong, she is forced to fight for her own survival. That sounds like a James movie to me.
It's a good movie.
The whole movie is about her being an alcoholic and her sister getting on her case about it.
Oh, geez.
And by the way, she's an assassin, but that's like so second thought of the movie. It's not good.
Okay. Well, my backup, I don't think anybody's seen it because it kind of just came out, and it's Stowaway on Netflix.
Ooh, I wanted to watch that one. Good choice.
So it's I like the little descriptive words that Netflix will throw up. Like when you hover over.
Yep.
It'll say this one is suspenseful, dark, cerebral. Ooh. So yeah. I like cerebral stuff. But this one is a 3-person crew on a mission to Mars faces an impossible choice when an unplanned passenger jeopardizes the lives of everyone on board.
Uh-oh, it sounds like Among Us.
Oh, he's sus. We gotta get
He's
rid of him.
so sus.
Yeah. Red is sus.
So Stowaway.
Yep.
On Netflix. It just came out, I think, last week. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my backup.
#2 in the US.
Yeah, and did you see the #1? Is that Shadow and Bone?
Shadow and Bone.
I watched a trailer for that, and it looks good. It's kind of like a sci-fi, steampunky kind of world. I watched looked at like a little synopsis on it, and I guess there's like an alternate world, right? And there's like all these like nations, but there's a rift in between the nations, and like everyone who doesn't live in the two power nations have to travel between that rift, and in that rift there's like crazy stuff going on. So it's all about these people that aren't in, the big factions trying to survive and navigate that. So that looks pretty good too. But anyway, Stowaway, Netflix. Let's watch it.
Nice.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, for sure. And I'm pretty sure Shadow and Bone is based on a series of books, but I might be wrong. Anybody listening who knows for sure, don't yell at me if I got that wrong. But I went into Books A Million the other day and actually overheard somebody say, "Hey, have you watched Shadow and Bone yet? It's pretty good." I heard them say it reminded me of The Golden Compass.
Oh yeah,
which I never saw that either. So I don't know if it's right or not. But
I like
somebody said that.
Compass.
Yeah, and they said that in a good way, like that was a good thing. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to watch a Stowaway trailer or?
Well, the only bad thing is it's a Netflix movie.
Yeah,
so Netflix trailers give away the movie all the time.
I mean, I think the description was pretty good. So
I'm sold. Yeah, I've got that added to my list anyway. So,
speaking of when we were talking about epic series, I saw that the table reads for that new Game of Thrones prequel started, and there were like pictures of the table read showing the new actors and actresses reading their scripts for the first time.
You're a nerd.
But there's like, it was people who I didn't recognize, like just like the last one, like if we didn't know who these actors were when it started, but it was like so and so playing so and so Targaryen. I just kind of recognized some of the names,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
guys, I gotta be honest. I don't know if I really need a Game of Thrones Targaryen prequel series.
As negative as you were about the last season, maybe we don't need you to watch it. That way, we can just enjoy it and be happy.
Well, as long as the clowns running the show don't leave early to go film a Star War, then
a Star War, a
Star War in space,
and then get fired before they can even start it.
Yeah, I mean that's season 8 was pure garbage. I'll argue about that till I'm blue in the face. But I just I watched it. It was great. I know there's a ton of lore for Game of Thrones. I just don't know if I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll probably love it. But
I bet
that ship has sailed.
But
it's like the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon. Like really, we're done.
That's going to be good too, man.
I mean, maybe.
Did you see that's like the highest budgeted show of all time?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, though they said like $450 million, but Amazon said no, that's not even close.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Matt, there's only like 5 or 6 episodes, right?
6, yeah, 6.
6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of came right off of WandaVision, right into this, right? And
a week lag between into WandaVision and this.
I hopped onto WandaVision mainly because you were so excited about it, and I knew that it would be something good to talk about for the show. But then I kind of got a little Marvel fatigued, and then didn't go into this one. But in retrospect, from some of my other friends that that aren't on here or on our Discord, this one might have been a little bit more up my alley than WandaVision. So
yeah,
I probably made the mistake of watching WandaVision instead of this one. So sell me on it.
Well, I think I liked this one better than WandaVision. It took me a little bit to really get going. Because like the first episode is setting everything up. But by the time it was all said and done, I was like, wow, that's a really great story. If you ever watch it, I would wholly recommend watching all 3 Captain America movies before, because you just won't it won't have as much of an impact to you. You have seen Endgame though, right?
I saw Endgame and I saw Winter Soldier.
Okay. The great thing about this show is it, so when at the end of end of Infinity War, Thanos snaps everybody or half the population of the galaxy out of existence. The end of Endgame, he snaps them all back in, and then of course everybody on the internet started thinking, well, if they got snapped back in to where they were, and somebody was in an airplane, does that mean they fell to their death? And it's like probably, but you're not supposed to think about that stuff. And then Spider-Man, Far From Home, addressed everybody coming back from the blip a little bit, right? But everybody kept talking about the logistics of half of the population of the planet coming back all at once. This series actually addressed that quite a bit. There's a whole government multinational group, the the GRC. I can't remember what it stood for, but there was a whole group that was responsible for getting everybody who came back, putting them back into society. They even mentioned reissuing social security numbers, finding homes, finding jobs, all that kind of stuff. So for all those people crying about how would that work, this series talks about that. So the main crux of the whole series, though, the reason I say that is because there is a group called the Flag Smashers, and they actually don't want the world to be put back. Like when all these people came back in, this multinational organization is trying to redraw borders of countries, people who came back, they're trying to push people back to where they came from, all that kind of stuff, because, there's an influx of billions or trillions of people.
Right.
This group called the Flag Smashers wants the world to stay the way it was after the snap, because that kind of, in a way, sort of brought the world together. It sort of blurred borders and you could go wherever you want, that kind of thing. So they want the world to stay that way. And then you also have another story with a new Captain America, John Walker. Steve Rogers is gone. I guess he's dead. He didn't die at the end of Infinity War. I don't remember if they said he's dead now or if everybody just thinks he's dead. But Captain America's not around anymore. You've got a new one, John Walker. He's not as polished as Steve Rogers. So you got that whole thing too. Yeah,
where it was him as the old Up guy from Disney Up.
Right. Yeah. And that was just that was just the beginning of the first episode. It's kind of a bad shot. But
the Wish.com Captain America, you mean?
Sam Wilson gets brought in, gets sort of tangled up in figuring out who the Flag Smashers are, stopping there, because they I'm not saying they are terrorists, because they talk about that too, how they're labeled terrorists. Maybe they really shouldn't, but they act as if they were terrorists. They're blowing up buildings and they're blowing up cars and they're doing all that kind of stuff. So Sam Wilson gets tangled up in that. Bucky gets tangled up with him, and it's and John Walker, Captain America, and his partner become part of that as well. But Bucky and Sam Wilson and the new Cap and his partner, they sort of butt heads as well, while they're also trying to stop this Flag Smasher organization. But what I really like about it is that there is not a true black and white good guy and bad guy. The reason the Flag Smashers are doing what they're doing is I actually don't really disagree with them. They because they kind of feel like the world was made a better place. And sure, half of the population had to be snapped out of existence, but it kind of brought the world together a little bit. And, countries sort of started opening themselves up to each other. And now that everybody's back, countries are not closing their borders, but redrawing borders and, moving people back to where they should be and stuff. And so the Flag Smashers actually kind of have a noble idea, but the way they're going about it is all wrong.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely not good versus evil. It's just, shades of gray. And it's, there's a great scene in, I think, episode 4 where Sam actually talks to the head of the Flag Smashers, who's a young girl. And they actually have a conversation. And Sam's basically says, I don't disagree with what you're doing or why you're doing it. I just disagree with how you're doing it. So, there's a lot of kind of stuff like that. The Flag Smashers also steal some super soldier serum. So they are 13 of them, I think, have become super soldiers, strong like Captain America as well. So, there's a whole aspect with another shadowy figure called the Power Broker, who actually, that's where the serum came from. There's a bunch of moving parts, but but it's a lot more grounded. It's not as fantastical as WandaVision.
Yeah.
It's not, like the first couple episodes were silly in the 60s and what's going on. There's nowhere near as much like theory crafting. The only real mystery is who is the power broker, because we keep hearing about the power broker. We find out who it is in the last episode. But that's really the only like big time mystery, is who is the power broker. Other than that, it's just Sam and Bucky trying to sort of stop this organization that is physically doing bad things, but for a good reason. You've got this new Captain America who sort of walks along the dark side a little bit and gets, then gets some redemption. It was just a really good, solid show that I think I liked it better than WandaVision, because I like these characters better. I like the grounded heroes a little bit better, especially in the MCU. I love Captain America, the MCU's version of Captain America, and all his supporting cast, and you get a lot of that in this. And I just thought it was really, really great. I want to go back. I found the first couple episodes a little bit hard to keep up with, because it was 1 hour or 45 minutes a week. So I'm going to go back and watch all 6 of these as if it were one big long movie, and I think doing it that way is probably even better, because you get one big giant story that's a lot more grounded in reality. I mean, obviously it's still fantastical, but it's not like sorcery and wizards and alternate realities and stuff like WandaVision. So
what's next? What's next for the MCU movie?
The next one is Loki.
Loki?
Yeah, but that's not coming until like June, I think, or maybe May or June. I think it's June.
Are they expecting that to kind of be like a, more like a Ragnarok type, like where it's kind of like a little humorous? There's like a lot of.
I think there's going to be. There's definitely going to be some humor.
I like those.
But he's going to be jumping around in time, maybe, doing some multiversal travel. I'm not real sure.
Yeah.
But, he got this space stone in the 2012 version of Loki, got the space stone in Endgame. Mm-hmm. So there's no telling what he could do with that.
Right.
So, yeah, that should be pretty good, too. And then we're going to get the What If animated series after that, which is going to be pretty cool.
So he got the space stone and then just like disappeared?
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in that there's some comics I'm going to read for that, because I'm not really familiar with. It's based on some stuff that happens in like the Loki comics, but I haven't read those, so I'm going to try to catch up. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I highly recommend it. The last episode, the finale, was really good. The thing that I really wanted to happen and everybody else wanted to happen happened. And that's going to lead into another movie that they've announced. And yeah, so it was a fantastic series from top to bottom, because, and like I said, it was so great because it wasn't good guys versus bad guys. It was all shades of gray. And I thought it was executed really well.
Sweet. Well, cool. I'm sure we will stay up on all things MCU since you're on the show. Mm-hmm. Opie, did you watch it?
No, I actually watched the first episode, and then I wanted to hold off and binge the rest of it.
Oh, nice.
And then, I just lost track of time and didn't realize the finale was this week, where I would have probably watched it and tried to talk about it with Matt.
I mean, I honestly think binge watching it is probably the best way to watch it. Mm-hmm. I knew that I couldn't wait for 6 weeks to watch it. But if you haven't watched it, they're all out there now, and I think you're going to be able to watch it the better way, all at once.
Yeah. That's kind of how I've been with Invincible now. Like now I'm just going to wait till it's done and then watch it on like a Saturday.
Yeah. I forgot to watch last Friday's episode. There's only one more, I think.
Oh, nice.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's on my list to binge for you guys too.
Yeah, super good.
And I've been seeing the Invincible comics pop up on the Instagram a lot now too. So,
dude, yeah, the comics are good. I've been going through the first compendium. It's real good.
Awesome. All right, well, let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit about a video game that I think our little crew might start playing.
Not might. We're gonna.
Well, you never know with us.
It's true.
But this is a game called Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a few years old. Came out, like 2017, 2018, somewhere around back in there?
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 2016, because we played it before in 2017, so it was sometime before then.
Yeah, you guys are kind of old veterans on it. I wasn't playing. I wasn't playing it back then, but it's kind of like a different take on like a role-playing game. It's a little bit slower pace, like real. I guess you could say cerebral, right? Like it's really important, like where your positioning is. But you play it co-op, and it's like real deep storytelling. And so we kind of think it might be something fun for us to play live on our YouTube channel for the podcast. So maybe like during the week, maybe like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, we might play for a couple hours and stream it live, and then maybe talk about maybe some highlights, back during our weekly podcast. So I do have the trailer pulled up just to kind of give you a little taste, for everybody kind of watching to kind of see what it's going to look like. So let's do that. I won't share the audio, so we can kind of talk over it here because this is kind of, so you guys are a little bit more familiar with this than I am.
Well, that's
but it's just showing like the different platforms it's on, and I guess we'll be playing it on PC,
right?
But I guess now it's available on pretty much everything.
Yeah,
it's even on Switch.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
So the thing about this is that it's really story heavy, and it's not like World of Warcraft where you can just go up to a quest giver and just accept or whatever. Like it's voice acted, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Voice acted, and you kind of have to sort of read because there's no like quest helper add-on or what to get. Like you have to just sort of read what you're doing and figure out where to go and that kind of thing. It doesn't hold your hand. And then when you do get into combat situations, there's action points, and you have to figure out where to move, but you've got only so many action points to get there, and also to attack. And how do you want to spend those action points? And working together as a group. So when we played it before, Opie and I played it with our buddies Dan and Tim. So we had four players, and we were each a different class working together and trying to take on different fights and stuff. But you can also, like when you get to a town, you can all sort of split up and go do your own thing and talk to different people.
Oh, okay.
And they may or may not give you a quest or update something in your journal or something like that. So then you have to sort of talk to each other and say, whoa, I just talked to a guy who said if we go here, we can do this thing or get this item. So you don't have to stay together at all. You can all split up. I mean, you have to stay on the same, you have to stay on the same island, but when you get to a town, you can all go your different ways and do things. So, which is good and bad. You can get sidetracked real easy, doing your own thing and instead of working together. So, but it is fun.
It'll be fun as like a little community thing, where we play it and then talk about it. And I'm sure there'll be some funny moments and some real head scratchers on why do we do that? Well, I'm not real sure why that happened. And so,
plus, there's going to be a lot of head scratchers on what do we do next? I don't know. There's going to be some Googling.
Awesome.
But we're going to do that together.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about the because there's all kinds of different classes and subclasses, right? There's like just a bunch. Like the way you can build out your character is kind of unique. It's just there's the sky's the limit, right? Like you don't really have to pigeonhole yourself into one thing. You can kind of start off as a warrior, but then move into more of like a healing kind of thing, right? And that kind of like how it goes?
Sort of. I mean, you can't go too far with it. You can't go from hunter to healer or something like that, but you can, you can spec your character certain ways and that kind of thing.
But you can be like a hunter starting out doing physical damage, but then move into more like fire damage or
I think
stuff like that, right?
Yeah. But the thing about it is the group aspect doesn't have to be defined by your classes. Like you don't have to be tank, DPS, healer type of thing.
Right.
I mean, it's going to help if you have that. If you have certain, if you have like a, a variety of different classes. I mean, if we all played hunters, of course, it would have its own challenges, of course. But we're not going to do that. So.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to start. We're going to kind of get the details ironed out this week, and maybe hop in and play a little bit, or might start up next week. But we'll let you know, and we'll be on the on our Discord, kind of talking about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see what Tim says. Don't try to be dedicated healer. Everyone needs to heal themselves. Yep. There we go.
Thanks, Tim.
There's a little tidbit from our friend Tim, who's played it quite a bit, so he knows.
Yep.
Yeah, Did he play as a healer in your group when you guys were playing?
Yeah, he was traditional role of a straight healer, which it kind of limited it. I think, Tim, it limited your ability to attack, and you really, the way the skills are made up, you just can't throw heals on people all the time. You end up, if they don't have some self-healing to keep themselves alive, then it's not, you can't play this like you're playing WoW. It's not gonna help. So that's why we're gonna have to do some research, and we'll hop on tomorrow. It was a straight up fail. So we'll jump on tomorrow night, and we'll all get on here and discuss our classes and what we're going to do, and watch, just research it and see how we go, because it is a hard game. I mean, people really love it because of its difficulty. And if you watch any video, they'll tell you how difficult the game is, but it's very rewarding, and it's very cool. I mean, we really got into the story of it, and it really, when you
what happened? Why did you guys quit? Did you guys just hit a roadblock?
Yeah, we sort of just hit a wall. We were in an area that we just couldn't really figure out where to go, and we tried to go to a place, but we were a little bit weak, and we just kind of.
So you can't just go back out and grind up a few levels. It's not kind of like that.
I don't know.
I don't remember. This was so when we did it. We played it in 2017, so it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
But it's fun as a group. I don't know how fun it would be single player.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's fun when you have people together, working together, and sharing notes out of a journal. And I talked to this guy and that kind of thing.
Cool.
But yeah, when like Pete said, we are gonna, whenever we get started, whether it's this week or next week, we're gonna play consistently at least one night a week. We're gonna stream it live every time on our YouTube channel. So we would love to have you guys come in and watch with us and talk to us about what's going on and that kind of thing. I don't know if we're gonna I don't think we'll RP it.
No,
I think that would be a little hard.
No.
but yeah, we're gonna
intruders beware,
crushing death and blood. No,
but yeah, we're gonna stream it on our YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel will have more content than just a podcast.
We're not gonna have backstories for our characters. At least I'm not. I don't know if you guys want to go that far. We're not gonna really RP it. We're just gonna do good to play the game and progress in the game. And then as it goes along, we'll see how much fun we'll have with it. But yeah, we're ready to go.
Well, let's see what Tim says here.
Our group failed because I was a dedicated healer and I couldn't keep everyone alive, and no one knew to get their own heals. We got to the point we couldn't be effective in big battles. Yeah, I remember we kept getting in fights that we couldn't win.
Alrighty, well, we'll keep you guys updated on that. We're going to move on to pickups. You guys, do you have any pickups this week?
No pickups this week. I spent all my pickups last week. And
I would have had one, but because the show was delayed 2 days last week, my last pickup came in, so it was on last week's show.
Okay. Well, I have a couple pickups, which I usually don't have pickups, but I do this week. The first one is actually from a friend of the show named Mark King, who is on our Discord, Ringer for Kinger.
Ringer for Kinger?
Yeah, he is a good friend of mine that I just met probably just a couple years ago playing softball. And he plays on a co-ed team with me on Friday nights. And he'd been talking about this book he wanted me to check out. So I got it last week and kind of read the first couple of chapters and thought I should kind of talk about it. This is called Engineering an Empire.
Yes.
This is
awesome.
Ooh. This is all about the engineers at Kenner Toys and how they got the deal to create the Star Wars action figures. And really, it's I kind of look at it as kind of like an homage to the engineers themselves. Like, it really talks a lot about where they all came from, like what projects they were working on beforehand. And then I'll kind of show, it's a really nice book, and there's just a lot of stuff like this, like really cool, like how they design things, like how they
they're posing articulate.
For the cool. Yeah, just really cool stuff like that. Kenner is in Cincinnati, so it's a Cincinnati-based company. So there was a lot of talk, whenever I wasn't really into collecting action figures, but there were people who knew that I was from the Cincinnati area, and they would always tell me that I should be looking around at yard sales and stuff for vintage Star Wars stuff because they thought since Cincinnati and Kenner that there might be more stuff around here. But yeah, it's just all kinds of stuff like this, and talks about a lot of stuff about their
that's
past
the superpowers. They did the superpowers too.
Their past projects and so all kinds of cool stuff. So
love that.
Yeah, I'm just like a couple chapters in, and it's really nice, and I appreciate Mark letting me check it out, and so I'm going to kind of read through that at my leisure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, and I'm not the biggest action figure guy, but I love it's just like reading a documentary pretty much.
Yeah,
that's how I would describe it. It's that Netflix could make. Which did you ever see the one
the toys that made us?
The toys that made us.
Oh,
it reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah,
like, it's a lot about that. Just like the
it's really good.
The improbable story of this like unknown toy company, that just so happened to strike gold and get the ability to make Star Wars toys, Okay, moving on. So my son, my 14-year-old, he's kind of got into collecting vinyl records.
Yeah, he has.
Which is really
hanging
odd
around
to me.
that Opie guy too much.
Really odd to me, but he
the youths.
The youth, he was doing the kind of thing like where we would go to Walmart and he would look at like they have like the top 40 stuff there, and then like some classics. There might be like Garth Brooks and Nirvana and just like kind of an eclectic mix of like big time hit makers.
Oh man, does that mean that the music we grew up with is now considered the classics, like classic rock?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
So he wanted to go to an actual record store, and there's a really nice one in downtown Dayton, downtown Dayton is only like 20 minutes from here, maybe 25, but they have a really nice little downtown area called the Oregon District. It's like not like the urban downtown. It's more like the arts district where it's like cobblestone streets, little storefronts, that kind of lots of bars, little eclectic restaurants and shops. And so they have a place there called Omega Records. Yeah, Omega Records. And so he wanted to go up there and check it out. So I took him up there, and he got a couple albums, and then I got one for me, but I'm going to show you the mix of stuff. So this is his picks. He got
High School Dropout.
This is Kanye. College Dropout.
College Dropout. I'm sorry, College Dropout.
But
Kanye at a furry convention.
I tell you what's funny. So, and I didn't know the correlation between Kanye and this like teddy bear thing. Like I didn't know. Like I just didn't know. But like a week ago, I just so happened like this ad popped up on my Facebook for like you get those ads. It's like 80s tees or gamer tees, stuff like that. And it's just like, well, there was like a shirt popped up on there that had like the cartoon face of this bear, and then above it said, "I miss the old Kanye." And I was like, Peyton would love that because Peyton loves like the old Kanye albums better than like the new kind of religious Kanye albums that he started making.
That's good.
I was like, man, that would be right up Peyton's alley. So I bought him that shirt, and it's not here yet, but I showed him like what it was going to be, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, like kids at school are going to love that." So here's the other one. This is a Kendrick Lamar album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really this looks like something that would be like a 90s album cover,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that at Walmart.
Like an Astro van or something.
Is that Soul Asylum?
So that's that. And then my album that I picked up, I'm going to see if you guys know what this is. I don't think that you will, but it's one of my favorite albums of all time.
I don't know.
This is the Shins.
Mm.
And it's I tell you what's so weird. Like, I'm not really into vinyls and stuff like that, but I totally forgot that you had to flip them over.
Oh, yeah.
There's an A side and a B side.
And so let me ask you this, Opie.
Yeah.
The RPM, like I see like a RPM on the album, on the vinyl.
Yeah.
Is that the same RPM that's on all of them? Because why are some of them like this one says 33 RPM? Is that is that the speed at which the table's supposed to turn?
Yes.
Yeah, revolutions per minute. Yeah. So does the record player have a different speed setting?
Yes. The smaller 45s are faster RPM.
Oh, okay.
Because when you get the smaller records,
there's not as much to spin.
Yeah.
I didn't know this when I got the Shins album, Wincing the Night Away album, is that it actually came with a little voucher to download the whole album MP3.
There you go.
That's kind of cool.
It's like this vinyl was $20, but I mean, if you were to get the album on the Sub Pop site, it's probably $12-13. So it's almost, I mean, that's what a value.
There you go.
What a great deal.
Pack of Pokemon cards and you get
that's not to bring comics into it, but Marvel Comics, you buy a paper copy off the shelf and there's a code inside every one of them to download it digitally for free.
Nice. Well, that's awesome, James. Are you going to just put it up on your shelf, or are you going to listen to it on Peyton's setup? Or
I did listen to it on his setup, and it's very vinyl-y. I like it's I get like why people like vinyl. It's just I do feel like it's like it sounds like a fuller sound than just like playing an MP3 off of Spotify. You know what I mean? Like it.
And vinyl makes you listen to the whole album a lot of times.
I asked you that once, Opie. I said, what about, the convenience of being able to go on Spotify and just tap, here's a song I want, versus vinyl, you don't know where it is. And you said, well, it kind of makes you listen to the whole thing.
It does. And sometimes you can get something out of a record that you listen to from front to back. I mean, in the the 60s and 70s, there's lots of albums that Pink Floyd did a lot of that stuff, and Rush and things like that, where if you didn't listen, it was like one big experience listening to the album from front to back, where if you picked out one track, you would miss a lot from it. So it's stuff like that vinyl's good for. It's not for everybody. And it's not convenient. If you're lazy, vinyl's not for you.
You gotta want it.
You gotta want it.
You said that it sounds fuller, and I haven't listened to vinyl since I was a kid. But could it be? Do you think any of it is just that he's got a good sound system for vinyl versus you just putting AirPods in your ears and listening to something? Do you think that has anything to do with it? Like, have you done a comparison?
No.
Vinyl on his system versus plugging in my phone to his system and seeing which sounds.
Well, digital music's compressed to a point, Matt. So there is a little bit to be taken away. Now, I've even watched videos of vinyl collectors that actually have CD or digital formatted, uncompressed songs that it's just like, I think they put them on Blu-rays. Like they like put what you would have on a regular CD compressed, like uncompressed it would take a Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's like MP3 files versus FLAC files. Yeah, like MP3s are like 3 megabytes and FLAC files are like 20. Yeah,
lossless.
And it's basically your audio files that want that sort of things. Like, you want the convenience of your CD player or computer, but you want the uncompressed sound versus just putting a record or an album on a record player and getting that too. So, but there is I've talked about this on the show before, but vinyl, there's a lot of moving parts with vinyl to get it to sound great. And, just keep in mind that when you listen to vinyl, it can, different strokes for different folks. You just can't throw vinyl on just anything, and you can get an opinion on it. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work to get that sound out of it.
Are there even different kind of like needles for the players?
Oh yeah,
like magnets and stuff, like all kinds. Like they had all kinds of stuff at this music store. I mean, they had some really cool little bookshelf speakers that were super expensive, but they were so heavy. Like the box was so heavy. I'm like, oh, you can just, like a good quality speaker is heavy, Like so I was like, oh man, you might need to save up some money and get these, dude. He's like, yeah. But
vinyl for me is like, we were talking about it a little bit before the show. Like vinyl for me is like VHS, Opie, your VHS collection. I think it's super cool. I'm not into it. Personally, I'm not into collecting it, and I don't want to collect them, but I do think it's cool that vinyl's coming back, that people are into it, that it's available. Are any of those the actual vinyl? Are any of those colored? Or are they just like the black vinyl?
Yeah, these are just black. But so after I got this Shins album, they have one called Oh Inverted World, and they just released a collector's edition, and it's the first like so many hundred were like a clear baby blue album, like cool. Vinyl. So I had to get that one. So it's on its way.
Has Peyton? You and Peyton need to get you some? Go ahead and get you some sleeves and start getting those albums in those sleeves, brother.
Yeah, and I also want to get. He just has them kind of like stacked up on his little dresser that is little tabletop things. I saw like on Etsy, people are making like these like acrylic kind of like stands, like where it'll hold like like 20 or 30 albums and kind of like stand them up. You know what I mean? So you can kind of like catalog them. And
dude, you got to get the Calyx IKEA shelves like these ones right here. Those fit records perfect. Yeah,
and don't store your vinyl laying down either flat. Don't store your vinyl flat. Yeah, don't store your vinyl. Let's see if we can get a look at Opie's vinyl.
So
over
why
there.
is that? It seems like you.
I see it.
Yeah. Why is that? I always notice that they are up on their sides, but why?
The weight of because vinyl is so heavy, it will warp. It'll warp the records.
Oh, okay.
If you stack them on top of each other and leave them over a long period of time, it'll warp your record. So when your record gets on the record player, it'll do like this.
Yeah, I've noticed this one has a slight wobble to it.
You can get vinyl weight. You can get weights to actually put on the record player, and it actually smooths that out. Kind of like if a car tire is kind of out of balance.
Okay, make a wobble.
It'll make a balance.
It's not like bad, but it's just it doesn't affect the sound. It seemed like, but do you like that little pops and hisses like that you get from the vinyl?
Yeah.
It gives us some character, doesn't it?
It does.
We're so artsy.
I love that you said it because vinyl's not for lazy people. I'm super lazy. Like the right kind of needle and speakers and putting weights on it. Like all of that sounds like too much work for me. Like I said, I'm not hating on it at all. I think vinyl is awesome to be into. It's just not for me because I just don't want to go through all that hassle. But I love seeing somebody's vinyl collection. I think it's really cool.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I think you guys got anything else you want to add before we hit the socials here?
I'm good.
All right. Let's see here. So we are on Twitter. Guess we've started kind of sharing like our pickups and stuff on there. So I can kind of send some photos over there on Twitter. So you guys can check out the album art and this Engineering and Empire book if you're interested in that. It's at Anything Newcast. You can drop us an email at anythingnewpodcast@gmail.com. And we are on the gram. It's Anything New Podcast on Instagram. Some of you are probably watching us live on YouTube. It's through a bit.ly link, bit.ly/anythingnewYT. And the Real Meat and Potatoes is on our Discord. That's where we like to do our in-depth show discussions, kind of interact with the fans of the show. Talk about, maybe show some little sneak peeks on things that we're going to talk about on the next episodes, or just continue discussions from what we've been talking about on here. And that's on bit.ly/anything new Discord 1.
We got some we share some memes on there. We've been talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier over there because we didn't talk about the show. March Madness, I guess we had a thing. I don't know. Did we ever finish that out?
Yeah, Diana won it.
Peyton won.
Peyton won.
Okay.
Yeah, my son Peyton won. It was close. It came down to just like 2 or 3 points there, but he did good and won. And so now we can get rid of that channel on there if you want to, Opie. Kind of clean it up there a little bit. But awesome. You guys got anything else before we take off?
I'm good. I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with us. Sorry we had to delay the show, but it was worth it. It was a good things come to those who wait.
That's right. We kind of get in the busy season we all have, at least the three of us here, we all have kids and sporting events and, things kind of
getting warm. It's nice, getting nicer outside.
It is.
Lighter later. So,
schedules start getting pushed around and, we're having to stay late for this event or go in early for that event. So it kind of makes it tough, when we're just dads, driving kids around and living vicariously through them. All right. Well, I guess we'll catch you guys next week for episode 38.
All right.
See you, everybody.